Okay, so welcome to the Future of Fashion Inclusion, the Shoes Edition. We are so beyond excited, thrilled. Oh my gosh, it's global. We've gone global. We have global brands. And I'd like to invite you on behalf of Angela Bianchi from Virgo Image and Samantha Bullock from SB Shop. And I am Nancy Connor from Smart Adaptive Clothing. So I'm going to introduce our guest panelists, and Samantha and Angela will ask questions of the panelists. And towards the end, we'll have an open dialogue between all of the attendees and the panelists. We encourage you to reach out, ask questions as we're going, and we'll get to those Q&A questions at the end. Have fun. That's what it's all about, building community, learning about brands, sharing ideas. And oh my gosh, this is so exciting.
So for me, there's disability, and I'm also plus size, according to, so there's a lot of things that I'm paying attention to. And again, seated position versus, so I actually, when it comes to clothing, I'm paying attention to, yes, it looks great on this model that's generally standing 99.9% standing up. But how is it going to feel, and how is it going to look sitting down? Because that's how it's going to be. So a palazzo pant is great. Is a palazzo pant going to look like a palazzo pant sitting down, right? Probably it's going to look like a skirt, like it's going to not even have the same, look. But the functionality that I'm looking for is like, does it stretch? I have people that are helping me get ready in the morning. So it's like, what kind of give? I love linen, but if linen is like pulled, you know what I mean? Like when you have people tugging and pulling on it, what is that going to mean? A cotton, something that's straight cotton, no stretch, so I'm looking at material and how, when it comes to wear and tear, I have, different medical things that are like attached. So is it going to work with that? And then for shoes, it's my feet, they're on the footrest, so the heel can't be too high. It needs to be comfortable. It needs to, like most of my shoes that have straps, I have to add an extra hole to them, so I'm looking at, but I'm still looking always at like, all right, is that gonna, is it gonna look cute? So that's so that I'm always kind of dual. But at this point, there's certain places and certain brands that I look, I go kind of directly to, knowing that, and for me, like I said, also being plus size, it fortunately and unfortunately limits my options.
I have not had the luxury of, if I wear uncomfortable shoes, they're only on my feet for 5 minutes before they end up somewhere else. So I think that for me, when I was kind of forced into a Mary Jane situation, I used to rotate the same pair of Mary Janes from Merrill, and they're called Plaza Bandeau. And I've actually recommended this particular brand of shoe to many of my friends who struggle with shoes because they were functional enough and fashionable enough that I wasn't embarrassed to wear them. But, I would rotate the colors. And after 5 years of doing that, no matter how nice they were, I just got tired of it, And so I think that now that I do more speaking, at least pre-pandemic, I actually was okay with being a little bit uncomfortable. Like there's some jumpsuits that look fabulous, but I need to bring like a zipper upper with me, a person that's going to zip it up and help me out of it for bathroom breaks and things like that. So I think that I've kind of, put fashion first more, but I don't think I should have to choose. But the ideal thing is something like I'm wearing today where it's fashionable, but it's also comfortable. And, I think definitely in the pandemic, I've been able to I have to pick things that, because I've been mostly by myself, that I can put on myself and take off myself. And so when I look at how really realistic an item is can I put it on and take it off myself, I think is really important. And that seems basic probably for most people, are non-disabled, that is something that they're, you might take for granted. But having the freedom to do that and not having, being in New York by myself, I don't really have a choice, but luckily I've found things that are comfortable enough that I can do them. For me, is there give in the armpit? Because I don't really do the over the head thing very well. And so I have to figure out, what works for my body. And in terms of shoes, and I think one thing I want to say, whether we get to this question or not, is I think what has shocked me is how much further behind I think shoes are than other types of adaptive fashion. I think we have Nike, thank God we have Philly, thank God, but I really think that shoes, even when I worked with Open Style Lab, I said, is there any way that you guys can work on shoes? Because that for me has always been the number one access need. And so I'm so grateful to people like Christine who are doing that work, because I just think that, first of all, we've focused a lot on kids, which that's important. Kids deserve to feel, good when they go to school and things like that. But at the same time, kids look cute in a paper bag. I think we need to focus, I believe, and obviously I'm an adult, so I'm biased at this point, but I think that in terms of access needs, we need to also shift that focus more to shoes and more to adults. I just wanted to get that in there in case, I don't know what other questions you have, but I think I just want to underscore that I think shoes are one of the biggest areas, and why I was so excited to talk about this topic is that we need much more. We need beyond UGG. Thank God UGG is doing it. Nike's doing it. But we need some also, I would say, luxury brands doing it as well.
Well, I would really say it's that wraparound zipper. That really is. There's really three elements that we call out in our shoes. One is the zipper, just having it go around on the side and around the toe, having it fold over, being able to step in unobstructed. Because for the most part, I really haven't found it anywhere else, but all shoes, even sandals, you're having to actually shove your foot into that object. Even a flip flop, there still is some putting stuff in your foot into that object. And that was one of the big struggles I had. It wasn't just a dexterity thing. It was actually physically shoving my foot into a shoe. So having that wraparound zipper, being able to drop it unobstructed, that's really unique with our brand. But it just opens up so many different opportunities. Being able to, fully see how your foot is placed in the shoe. There's no more of that squeezing of the toe to go, does it fit? Especially in my case, I don't have feeling in my feet. I don't have the ability for someone to squeeze my toe to say like, well, how is your foot positioned in the shoe? Or are your socks like wrinkled, or like any of that stuff? Being able to have visual confirmation, that really has been beneficial. But the other part of it too that we love to call out is every single person on this planet is on their own journey. Everyone has a story. So having the zipper go around the horn like that, having it open up, it really is like opening up like a book. So you're stepping into your book, you're stepping into your story, and it's kind of a motivator to like write your story. So those are the big things we like to call out on our brand.